Yeah, thank you so much.
So just on XLV, obviously no divergence, but we can take the message that this old resistance zone has been respected as price has stabilized here the past month. So it's basically 136
Mm.
to 138 is acting as support currently. You can retest 134 and probably set up a divergence. The point here is, this is still a support level that the market's respecting, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, in fact,
That's
this could be helpful as a hedge, right? Because there are stuff that are on RSI buy. I just needed something that's not the index, not the SPX, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
well, relative to XBX, you've had a small bounce from the
yeah,
mid-December lows. It did, obviously, with market rallying last night, it
yeah.
did underperform the Friday and last night's session. So it's not as if you've got a big reversal here, but it's stabilized. Both probably that's the message. It's stabilized both in relative and absolute terms.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it's strong in any sense, right? So it could be a good
No,
hedge. Yeah, got it, got
sure.
it. Yeah, and DRG, the drug index. This one I'm hoping it's set up RSI buy.
So, I mean, a few things. Obviously, the 22 to 23 trading range that does still give you support at 882.
Hmm.
What's different in DRG relative to XLV is
Yeah,
you did.
I can't tell if it did the divergence because it didn't close there. But it sort of did, right? Because if I were to look at the last November low, those were intraday lows where you drew the
So,
stop
so
loss.
this close here is lower than these closes here. So the
Yeah,
RSI higher relative to the November lows. The divergence is here
it's already
because of
intact,
the,
right?
the,
Yeah.
the closing low that you had. Um, is lower that in December than it was in November. So divergence there.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
yep.
mm, but the shorter one, the shorter range ones, the January one didn't actually close below, right? It looks slightly above, right? But
I
you
mean,
don't need those.
that's irrelevant. There's a divergence in place. So
Okay,
yes, there's
okay.
no divergence here because you haven't closed lower, but there's a divergence between November and December low.
But is the perception that more by divergence setup, the more prone it is to bounce, or that's not really the case?
Say it again. The more,
Yeah, yeah. That means it has set up a 2 month
yeah,
divergence,
yeah. So
but
the longer the
it's
divergence, the more significant it typically is.
yeah. No, but
So
do you need it? Do you need another small short-term divergence, another close
no,
below
you,
to
you you don't you don't. I mean, you can get it, but you don't need it. No, it doesn't
okay.
increase or make it more significant. If you get a third divergence,
Yeah.
that trend is obviously still in place, but without the new momentum signal, it's not as if it's accelerating lower.
Got it. I see. I see. That's the point of the divergence. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and but does the bounce that failed, at least end December, does it mean anything?
No.
No. Okay. Okay, that's cool. So DRG and then TPP farm and SXDP. At the bottom two. Oh yeah, left. Yeah, that's the one.
So obviously there is some support here at this 35.50 area.
Yeah, but it looks like it formed a divergence before reaching
There
the
is
support, right?
a small divergence that's gone here, November, December. So similar to DRG.
Yes, yes.
Um, I mean, so there is a divergence between the November, December lows.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
50-day is acting as resistance.
Well, we're not even close to it yet, though. You mean
Well, I
the
mean,
last fail, right?
as in it acted as resistance, the last bounces failed at the
Oh, I
50-day,
see.
right? So the 50-day is the important resistance zone. As far as, getting an all clear or change in trend, the 50-day is the key resistance zone.
Ah,
The one issue, I mean, I guess just on this farmer index
all of them.
is
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
like the longer term profile is deteriorating rather than improving, right? So yes, we've got a divergence here, but does this mean that we only get a bounce to the 50-day and ultimately we trade down to 3,300. That is a risk, particularly if you now look at,
Mm,
and this
the
is
relative.
unlike the US side, if you look at pharma versus topics,
Yeah.
this is making new relative lows since you peaked in August.
Oh, that's unusual. I thought the US I was making new relative lows. It wasn't, right?
Well, no, it's because it made relative lows in December. It did roll over Monday and Fridays.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as within the markets, the relative price action of TP
Was
Pharma
tipping up. Yeah.
is weaker.
Oh, okay. I see. And when do we get a decision whether it's going to test the support the bottom dotted line? If it breaks down the current one, right? 35.50, right?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is fairly. You've had a bounce. I
Weakish
just
weakish
the
bound.
longer
Yeah.
term the longer term profile is sort of a
Negative. Yes, yes.
big question mark for me on how this is trading and how the relative is trading.
I see. So the 50-day is negative, right? I should be more negative on pharma index. Okay, got
Well,
it. Got
yeah,
it.
it looks like rallies keep on getting sold, but I mean, I guess if you go back to, I mean, the way that I'd be quite simple on,
Daiichi, yeah.
well,
That's the
healthcare,
yeah.
healthcare in general. If you look at Novo and Lilly, which have been the big outperformers and drivers, those stocks trading range at best, but weak, right?
Yes.
And yes, there's a divergence here on
Daiichi, yeah.
Daiichi, but
But
if
the
we do
long-term
this,
profile is negative. Yes.
it is rolling over, and I mean, I guess the thing is on Daiichi, we could argue like Novo and
Lily, yeah.
Lilly that that's the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder, and this is
Oh,
deteriorating, right? So the the bounces that we had previously, had juice in them that the 50-day turned into support.
yeah, yeah.
The last few rallies again for
The 50-day are
Daiichi,
now resistance,
the
right?
50
Yeah.
days now resistant. So we're not getting that follow through buying as we did last year, basically.
Hmm.
So
No,
that's
this is
the
very helpful. Yeah.
that's the sort of observation that I'd make. And I mean, and what I, again, just keeping this very basic, what I think has changed as far as maybe you've lost the generalist.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, guys that don't really focus on healthcare
Yeah, they've all
traded
gone to
with the.
trade tech already. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so they've now, because this has rolled over, it's not a momentum stock anymore, is the weak hands are selling still because it's not working, right?
Yes, yes.
So that's what it seems to have happened over the past 6 months in healthcare, particularly the weight loss drug names, right? Or
Yes.
anything related to that topic.
Yeah, that's why Novo's reaction was exceptionally negative, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this is very
So,
helpful. But no, if we just were to be, let me just finish on Daiichi, right? If you don't mind, right? Just so I get the
yep,
levels right.
yep.
You're saying that near term there could be a bounce, but the longer term, right? You need to break above, decisively above the red line.
50-day, yeah.
Yes. Do I need to break above the up channel? That's quite far away, right? That's like 6,000-ish, yeah, or
Yeah,
5,000.
well, I mean that the 200 days at 5,155, and the old uptrend channel,
Yeah.
that's at 5,400. So there's actually
So
quite a bit of resistance
yeah.
between the 50-day and the 200-day.
The good news is, right, because these are pharma names, a slight readout, right, can change it dramatically, even though I know it's in June, right, for Daiichi. I just want to know where we need to break above to get back,
Well,
or if bird flu breaks
I
out.
think
Yeah.
if your catalyst is in June, this would be the best action you could see here. So like
Oh,
you saw between June and December of 23,
yes,
is
yes,
if we get Daiichi just doing this,
yes.
and there's probably, if there's no news, there's probably potential that this range is actually more like
Oh, lower. Yeah.
3,900 and the 50-day basically at 4,700 being resistance.
And
And
it
you do
keeps,
this until
yeah, it
June.
keeps falling lower. Then you break out,
Well,
right?
it
Yeah.
keeps falling low, but you have this sort of range that you can trade, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, you have basically dead money for almost 2 quarters, call it a quarter and a bit.
Yes,
as this
yes.
reconsolidates. And yes, you do have slowing downside momentum, but maybe that's the
Mm.
play as you've
No, no,
lost.
no. This is probably the case, and I'm amazed because you know what, the long-term bull JP Morgan just put out their yearly pick, and they for the first time they left Daiichi out,
Right?
pending visibility on the catalyst in June. So
Yeah.
you're right. Okay, okay, this is perfect. So
Yeah.
right
I mean,
now,
if I took the bearish case, right,
yeah,
like I could make like the Lilly Novo price action of last year.
yeah.
You could make the argument that
Did Lily form this Head and Shoulder? I think Novo did, right? Yeah,
I'll show you. We'll get to both of them, but just to play,
yeah. So
this is the bit.
a Head and Shoulder is actually the general is out, right? That's what it means for most sectors, right?
Well,
Hot money
so
out. Yeah.
it basically, it just means a top in the market. But the point for healthcare is the generals being, the leadership, the two
Yes.
leadership stocks over the past 3 years have formed these type of topping patterns. So Lilly's not as severely damaged as obviously the
Novo
Novo
was.
chart is. But if
Yes.
if I if you look at that Head and Shoulders for Daiichi, for example, is
Yeah,
the
it go to
downside
3,600.
targets.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, if it's at 3,600, it would be awesome. Okay, okay. No problem. This is very helpful. I'm a bit lost on Daiichi as well, so thank you for your insights. I'll give it some thought. Okay. And sorry, then if Daiichi is done, can we just go quickly back to Lily Novo? Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Lilly, which, like I say, is less damaged because we're still holding above,
Yeah.
this support zone. On an intraday basis, we're talking about 712 to essentially 750, right?
Yes.
So I know that's a fairly wide range, but you can see how many lows have been in that vicinity that the stock's held above.
Yeah.
But
3 year, right? Yeah.
where the deterioration has happened, you can see all the moving averages are now above price action, from the blue moving average being the 200-day, which capped the last
Yes, yes.
three rebound attempts. And then if we zoom into the shorter term, green is 20-day, red is 50-day, and again the 50
Mm,
days capped the rallies over the last 2 months.
mm.
So this is probably my simple observation on the healthcare side, is that there's sellers rather than buyers,
Yes.
in that rallies are being sold rather than being aggressively
Could I ask
bought to
something,
turn it
right?
around. Yeah.
Just to merge this from a fundamental view, I think they're going to miss this quarter results, which is very soon because of JP Morgan. They have to pre-announce, right? Let's say February or even
Right.
next week, right?
Right.
Let's say it trades down to 708 and does it form a divergence? And should I buy that third time, the fourth time that it is there at the lower end, 708? I mean, it should be a buy fundamentally because now it's the only play left, right? But I'm just thinking, is the overall downdraft so big that you'll be cautious that if it drops to 708?
So the only way I can answer that is, if you close below 708, you need to get out of the way, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
so
But we held.
you
Yeah,
you,
let's
you
say
can
we
buy
held.
it because you can manage your risk and have a tight stop less level, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
looking at the prior divergences that have been tradable,
Yeah,
you were well above the 200-day. You were in an uptrend. Trading this divergence, let's assume that a divergence develops,
at
is maybe it's just a
710.
mean
Yeah.
reversion to the newly forming downtrend, right?
Oh, so it's a small bounce, right? It's not like a breakout bounce. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Just the behavior's changed, right?
Yeah, I know. That's true. And when would you put the change? When was it obvious to you? I'm just trying to see where you put your
Well, I mean, I
arrows,
think
right?
that the obviously the
Oh,
the
the
break of the
quarterly
200
move.
day, because you can see here you broke the 200-day.
Yeah,
You
that's the
did form a
quarterly move.
divergence in November. The bounce from the divergence in November failed at the 200-day.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, so
the, the diver
you would put it in November, right? Late November as the behavioral change, or even earlier. I
the,
think.
the behavioral change to me really was reinforced when you failed to get back above the 200-day in early December, right?
Got it, got it,
So,
got it.
so maybe just to give you, the other simple observation of this divergence here
Yeah. Oh,
was
yes.
above the 200-day, that retested the highs, right?
Ah,
But obviously you had the divergence because momentum didn't confirm that move back
Yes.
to the highs. But
Yes.
the point that I'd make, we had, previous divergences that had formed, but you're above the 200-day.
All right. I see. This time we are different. Yeah. Yeah. I
Well,
get
this
it.
time you've been below the 200-day for, extended period
Two
of
months.
time,
Yeah.
more so than that period in March 23.
Yes. Yes.
So that's why I would say, this is
This is a
clearly
significant
more of a
behavioral change.
change
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the other thing that's, you know, it's worth sort of thinking about or bearing in mind is in an uptrend, the RSI will tend not to get below 30, right? So you can see through this trending phase here, the RSI,
Mm-mm.
when you did have sell-offs,
Yeah.
got close to but never went below 30.
Yeah.
And then in this trading range and the downtrend that's developed, the RSI doesn't get above 70, right? And remember just the calculations, average advance versus average decline. So it makes sense why we shouldn't expect to see sort of, or how the behaviors change is that the average gain has been less than the average advance. And that's why the sort of RSI's been sort of peaking more at 60 than at 70.
Got it. I
So
understand
again,
now.
just a change from basically 40 to 80 as how
Yeah.
momentum's traded to now more a 30 to 60 type momentum change. So just again, reinforcing the idea of a change in behavior in the momentum profile.
You see, right? It's partially Lily's own fault or the space, but I think in large part, the 60%, it's to do with XLK, for instance, right? Or the Mega 7, right? I know we should leave it this afternoon, but just in one line, is the tech rally almost done, or because this thing, I'm just saying, if there's a bird flu outbreak or something, right, it could flip immediately, right? And I just want to know how do we chase that? Yeah.
I mean, just so on Lily outright, if you broke above 856, you've got to trade back to 985, right? Back to the top of
Okay.
the range.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that would improve the picture. But I mean, just quickly on tech is,
yeah.
what you've seen this week is actually a breakout in the semiconductor index, which had underperformed for 20.
Oh, yes, yes.
So yes, maybe Magnificent Seven is a bit extended and it corrects, but I mean, I wouldn't even
There's a new
conclude
leader.
that. But what
Yeah.
what actually is happening, and what I put out in my notes on Monday is that breadth actually in tech looks like it can improve with semiconductors breaking out again.
Oh, okay. Then that's negative news for further healthcare. Okay, understood. Can I see the Novo levels? Because this one is the key interest, right? Yeah.
Maybe I'll just touch on the index in Europe. Obviously, this
Oh, yes,
is
yes, yes.
heavily weighted
Influenced by
in
Novo.
Nova, right?
Yeah.
And one is I mean,
Divergence.
like XLV, there's no divergence.
No, no
The,
divergence? I thought there was.
so that low confirmed, right?
Really? It looks lower. Yeah, it looks higher than the first dip, right? You may have to maximize the screen. Yeah, it did it did confirm a buy divergence, no?
So I'll take this
Mhm.
RSR low 23.56. Yeah, that's 24.
Yeah,
So yeah, that that is a divergence between the December and the October low.
yeah, but it's still negative, right? Or I'm just trying to understand why the action is pretty bad still, right? Is there other factors influencing the mediocre rebound? Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, obviously change in behavior with the break of the 200-day, and this
Oh,
is
the
this
same as the
essentially
Novo one. Yeah.
well, this is essentially the Novo chart because you did have Novo had that head and shoulders top, which
Yes, because of the weight, it's spilling across, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, there is that divergence there, and I was trying to find if there's
Yeah,
your next support area is basically closer to the 1,000
a
mark, being the
thousand.
lows.
And for it to wipe out the head and shoulder, it has to break above. Is it the red line or even the
Well,
blue line?
so,
Yeah.
so maybe just this head and shoulders bearish setup has played out, right? The downside target here was met with
Oh,
the Novo news, right?
Yes,
So it's
yes.
not as if I get new bearishness from it. That was the initial downside target. But what you've got is sentiments changed, right? So
Yes.
rallies are being sold.
Yes.
So, you know, for a trend that's been in place for 6 months, you know, a quarter where maybe we go sideways. So, that 1,000 area becomes support and 1150 becomes resistance.
Okay. And if it breaks above 1150, then that's a
So
change again.
1130 is quite important because that's the 50-day
All right.
and the upper boundary of that downtrend channel. So yeah, I'd say 1150 would be at least an improvement of the behavior of the lower highs that you've seen since
Got it, got it.
the
Because
peak
I know a
in
lot about
August.
the no fundamentals. The it's actually still quite good. And
But
I'm just trying to see, let's say at JP Morgan or post the 5th of Feb results, right? They
yep,
gave a bit of reassurance, but it's the rally is still going to get sold until what point? Until let's say something dramatic happens, it closes above the red 1130, right? That's roughly the narrative, right?
yeah, correct.
Yeah, okay. Then I want to see the other culprit in Europe is AZN, right?
Well, I'll
Yeah.
just do Novo quickly just to square that off because
Oh,
unlike
oh yeah, of course.
unlike the
I thought that.
index,
Yeah, I thought that was Novo. Yeah, yeah.
no, that was the index, right?
Index. Yeah. Okay.
So unlike the index, you can
This
see
is a
here
confirm.
momentum did confirm
Yeah.
the lows, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the bearish result of the head and shoulders here, like the index, the
Was
downside
exceeded.
target was 644. It pretty much played out.
Oh my goodness. And you had another Fibonacci showing the lows of that, right? That day. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
So it was predictive. I'm just trying to
no, I
understand.
mean that to me, yeah, that's a 1.6 times extension of the downside target, which was the intraday lows. But that to me is the
The most
downside
important one.
target.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Got it.
I mean you can see that horizontal line is lows and highs that you had in early and mid 23.
Yes.
Just short of the 500 area.
Just short of 500. Yeah. So if it gets to that, does it mean everything is met and if it rebounds from there, is it of interest?
Well, I mean, like you had this uptrend that kept on consolidating and hitting new targets.
Yeah.
The
Now we're in
downtrend can
downtrend.
go sideways and keep on hitting new downside targets, right? So it doesn't mean it's all over.
Yeah.
So, you know, evidence of a changing trend, slowing downside, comes some kind of sideways price action, then a break and getting higher highs and higher lows, right? We don't
Hmm.
have any of that on the Novo chart to suggest it. So, can you manufacture a trade if you get another leg down closer
Yeah.
to 500? Sure, you can manufacture a trade, but manufactured trades to me are always much smaller positions rather than being high conviction.
Yes. And when did behavior change for this thing? Is it, I'm going to look at it, right? Roughly August, right? It's the red line started capping everything, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I remember talking saying like this potential head and shoulders, we can't get back above this area, and then
Yes.
that was really confirmed. Then the break of that 560, and every time you rallied after that break, kept on capping the upside, and
Mm.
the fundamentals just continued to disappoint, I guess, and the
Yeah.
results from the test disappointed, and that's been the downtrend that's developed, right?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No, this is helpful. Yeah. No problem. I will think over Novo and we'll get more clarity. Can we take a look at AZN? Because this one has none of these problems. I don't even know what caused it. So is this a bounce? It's cut above the red line, right? Or
Well,
actually, was there anything that suggested it should bounce from the November low?
well, basically, this talked about this just being manufactured trade in that this is a support area that was respected, right?
Yes,
No,
but the
there
momentum
wasn't a
confirmed it, right?
divergence.
Yeah,
Yeah, but like I've said before, it doesn't always
doesn't
have
need
to
it.
have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
divergence, right?
But
Yeah,
the fact that
we've
it
seen.
is, yeah,
Yeah,
the fact that it's been so many months, it hasn't retested the lows. It looks like the market realized that whatever caused that scare, which was China, right, it was overdone. Does this mean that we won't retest the lows anymore? Likely? Or are we not going to get another 94, 9,500? That's what I'm trying to ask.
I know we could. There's no reason we're still in this trading range that you've had similar to the second
Oh,
half of 23. So it doesn't. This price action to me doesn't give me high conviction that it can't retest the lows.
Okay, okay, okay. That's helpful. That's helpful. And then what's your verdict with the RSI here? Relatively better at 60, right? Or 58.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot on this RSI. Obviously, no divergence at the lows, but
Yeah.
it confirmed that high. Interestingly, the RSI is higher today, but price is lower. So that's
Uh,
actually a fairly weak sort of signal that you're having high momentum, but you can't break through the overhead
yeah.
resistance. So to me, it's basically at the midpoint of this range that you had in the second half of 23,
Yeah, yeah.
momentum higher, but price lower isn't a great indication that you can actually have a high conviction trade back to the top of the range. So to me, this is sort of just a watch and look rather than doing anything.
Okay, understood, understood. Can we take a look at ROG and SAN? I know I was skipping a bit versus our usual one because I'm trying to understand Europe SXDP. How come it could bounce, right? Yeah, ROG
So
is right
looking at,
below. Yeah, that's the one. This one. Just
yeah.
yeah, that's the one.
So,
Oh, it's hitting a resistance now. Yeah.
so this did have a divergence here. So it didn't get to the 100%, it's got to the 62%. It's had a bounce. I mean, to me, this is one of those stocks that we sort of, if I talk about a reversal or change, or potential to the upside, having some hesitation and a pullback here below the 257, 258 that holds support around 248, you
Yeah.
then have this small basing pattern and breaking above the 257, 258 can get you an upside target towards 280. So
Oh
this does
wow.
have slowing downside momentum. Yes, it didn't hit the 100% downside target from this breakdown,
Mm.
but you've got slowing downside. So if you make a higher low relative to that mid-December low,
Yeah.
you have a bit more evidence of a base forming.
Okay. Okay. That's Roche, right? Yeah. Okay. SAN. Sanofi. Yeah.
So this close here is obviously lower than the closes here. So there's another
Divergence. Yeah.
divergence that's formed there. I mean, yesterday's action was interesting because you did close above 50-day and 200-day.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was the only one strong. That was like, wow. Maybe
Yeah.
this is the guy that's pulling up the SXDP, right?
Yeah, so that's got about 5% to go till hitting the upper boundary of that old range again.
Ah, okay. Only 5%. But still,
Well,
it's a
but
mega
until
cap.
overhead resistance, I mean, it doesn't mean that it has to stop there because momentum's still rising. Above that is 105, 106.
Yeah. Okay. This is helpful. But so this is a more bullish setup than everyone else, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Roche has the slowing downside and the
Yeah, the base out. Yeah.
potential for a base here.
Yeah. Okay. Then NOVN and GSK.
There's 2SK. So again, there's this 1200 to 1260 support zone. There wasn't divergence at the lows in November, but looking at the 50 days still acting as resistance,
Yeah.
as it has for a few of the other names.
Mm,
I mean, there's potential to retest, but I mean, I'd conclude that you're probably starting to see limited, or your
base.
downside risk being, 4 to 8%.
I know. I've been trying to short this. As long as it doesn't bounce, it will do, right? But it makes flu drugs and the flu is so big now. So that's puzzling. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would just sort of think you're shorting it here. It can be a funding short, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
absolute downside risk
It's
isn't
limited. Yeah.
significant. Yeah.
as long as it once, but get out of the way when it breaks like
The 50
decisively
day.
above the red. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Then sorry, what did I just say? GSK and there's one more name. Oh no, actually we're good. Can we look at Lonza, Sartorius, Merck? Yeah. Yeah. Left. Yeah. Lonza, Sartorius, Merck.
Also, nothing too much change on that Lonza, and that we're holding
Mm,
this, 497, 500 to basically 595, 600 trading range.
mm. Okay. Sartorius, SRT3. This was tricky because I've been waiting to buy it, but I didn't see the divergence. And yesterday, JP Morgan put it on conviction buy. Annoying.
So on a closing basis, the divergence
Was
was
already
there in
formed.
November. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's sort of double bottom support, call it at 200.
But you see it fail at the 50, right? Is that a big deal? I think it failed again yesterday at 50,
Well,
right?
it closed on the 50 day. So, that was the failure when it reacted to the 50 day. If you get
Oh,
a move today, it likely break the 50 day and then 200 day and the top end of the range. So basically 250, 260 is your next resistance.
Does this so Sartorius because of the divergence is a little bit more bullish, right?
I mean, it
And
looks like you've got,
the base form,
a
yeah.
multi-month divergence. You've got a multi-month trading range. And at the
Mm,
very least, it looks like you trade to the top of the range. It
yeah,
gets
before the
even more
market.
bullish breaking above 260.
Okay, perfect. Can we look at Merck? Merck Europe? Yeah, Merck. Yeah. That's below. Yeah.
So there's the divergence there.
Ah, so annoying. I saw
And
it.
then obviously you've got the double bottom support ahead of that
Mm,
divergence. So yeah, 50 days next test and breaking above the 50-day,
yeah, you go about
156,
157.
200 day. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Sorry, I forgot the important name. Novartis, NOVN. That's bottom left. Yeah.
I mean, interesting, no real divergence here. There is
Really?
support.
It is? I thought it was a divergence. That mini low. Yeah,
So
it is, right? Yeah.
27.6, 28.2. So you have a 1 week divergence here, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay,
again,
so it's one
you
week.
asked the question earlier on about significance of divergence. This is
Yeah.
pretty minor, right?
Okay, I see. I see.
But yeah, there is a 1 week divergence there, relative to some of the multi-month divergence we've seen in the other things. I mean, as far as the price pattern goes, this trading range that you had here, February through to June, is the parameters that you're probably dealing with being
Oh,
83.50 to
91.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, you got quite a bit of overhead resistance, not only the upper boundary of the old range, but 50-day,
Yeah, yeah.
200-day.
Okay, so this is less bullish than the other
Well,
names,
I
right?
mean, you've got a very small divergence where the price pattern at
Yes,
least
yes.
improves because you'll break the pattern of lower highs is, getting through the lower
Yeah.
90, so 91, 93 resistance.
In fact, this is a milder version of Novo, almost the same ticker, right? That I see. This is one of the culprit pulling down SXDP. So I'm
Right.
trying to understand why. Okay, this is
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. Can we take a look at ALC? Let's see if we get some shots there.
So, I mean, you had the slowing upside, this trading range failure, the $85. You broke 50-day, 200-day. That's now turned into resistance. You can see the very small range that you've had since you broke that.
Yeah.
Um, there is no divergence at this low. So the risk remains to the downside. Breaking below basically $73
Mm.
gives you two targets of 70 and 67,
68.
basically.
Yeah. Okay. This is helpful. Alcon. Okay. Sorry, I realized I forgot one name. Zeal. Zealand. Um, and BANB. These are the obesity related guys. Yeah. You see
Yeah,
that
so
intraday long tail by Novo, right? Yeah.
yeah, I mean at that intraday level, basically got close
Almost.
to the lows that you made in April and June, right? So
Yeah.
565 roughly. Um, I mean, obviously the close wasn't a new closing lows, even though you had that intraday level.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't have a divergence between these price
Oh,
to spot RSI because of the closing
yeah,
calculation, right? That was
yeah.
a close at the lows in November.
That's why
These,
it bled, right? Yeah,
yeah,
afterwards.
yeah.
Yeah.
So these closes are still above that. So no real divergence here.
But on a longer term basis, is this the head and shoulders as well? It is, right? It's like a Novartis or Novo,
Yeah, I mean, not the neatest, but you could argue that, this
the
was left
channel.
shoulder, that's head, and this is the
Yeah.
right shoulder, and you're breaking below the neckline. I mean,
Okay.
at the very least, this action here, the failure to get back above 50-day, 200-day here,
Yeah.
basically puts you back in this trading range you had in the first half of 24.
Mm.
So the bottom end of that range is basically at 565, and the top end of the range is at the 775 area.
Okay. Understood. This is very helpful. And BANB, Barcamp.
So this tried to set up a divergence as you got to the downside. So the downside target was from this trading range breakdown,
Yeah.
which was 62. But when I guess the Nova News had a reacceleration, so this low here, momentum confirmed it.
So it should the best case for it is we test 54, right? And then
Yeah,
diverge.
yeah. So I mean, again, can it rally more significantly? But potentially get back to
Yeah, the red
almost
line.
65.
Yeah.
But without the divergence, you probably set up some kind of trading range there.
Yeah. Okay, this is very helpful already. Sorry, I'm just gonna look through the ticker. Okay. Then SHL and
Pretty
FME.
straightforward range on this one, that 48 to 54.20, and the bigger range or upper boundary of that range at 57.
I see. So it's right in the middle of nowhere now, right? But it looks like it had a good day yesterday, right?
Yep.
If it breaks above, then it's going to the top then, right?
I mean, so strictly speaking, if we broke above 54.20, which is the first resistance zone,
Mm.
in theory, you have a breakout from the range that's been in place in the
Oh yeah,
second
for
half of
half a
last year,
year.
right? And that would, you know, increase, and assuming momentum goes with it, increase the likelihood of actually breaking above that 57 area and trading up to $60, right?
Okay, okay, understood. Well, surprisingly bullish. Okay, and
Well, it's,
as
it's it's more of a trading range now. I mean, there's quite a bit of action that needs to happen to be bullish, right? First, you have to break above 54.20, right?
yeah, yeah. Okay, that's very helpful. Okay, can we look at AFX? AF.
So this trading range that you broke down from 50-day resistance, I mean, the measured move, as you can see, is still on there at 41.88.
Oh,
I mean, again, the sort of question of the RSI getting to above 70 sort of resets. So this divergence played out with the momentum reading getting to 70.
yeah, yeah.
And now looking at this making new momentum lows here is that this bounce likely fails and you still have
Go to 42.
42 as the downside.
Okay. Wow, this is really trading. Okay, awesome. Uh, yeah, I guess that's all for me in Europe. I'll tap you later for 4 p.m. for some other new tickers, right?
Okay.
In Japan, can we look at Chugai 4519 and Otsuka? Yeah. Oh, this is
So,
strange. This is break above and then starts failing.
well, again, I mean, I think, you did have that divergence and you
Yeah.
now had the lower high, the bounce with the lower high. You didn't have divergence at this low.
Mm.
So again, this looks like we can come back to test the 200-day, the
Oh my
lows that you
goodness.
made in November.
Yeah, but is this part of the obesity head and shoulder? Almost, right?
Well, yeah, it's a you can the neckline's a bit, but basically yes, breaking below 6,135 would give you the same setup as you've had.
For the big boys. Yeah.
Yeah,
But does this look like the left shoulder now? Or sorry, the
right
right.
shoulder.
Yeah. The right
Yeah.
shoulder?
I mean, the fact that you've got this lower high, the fact that you didn't get divergence here is that at the very least we should test that. And yes, it looks like the outline of the right shoulder.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay, that's careful. 4578 Otsuka. Yeah.
I mean, just, I mean, I will show you this a bit later in the presentation, but just
Oh.
so you see, this is the breakdown in, and that's why I sort of highlighted to you when you looked at the farmer
Oh
index, right?
yes. Yes.
And, you know, this is, that's that
Yeah.
head and shoulders. This is the, what we've just looked at on sugar eye.
Oh yeah.
And to me, this has been the culprits on why this is trading heavy, right?
Yes, yes,
So that
yes.
was my sort of basic conclusion on that.
Mm.
It's like a, you had the slowing upside momentum. You broke 50-day.
Yeah.
50 days now resistance, and you do have supports basically 200-day and the lows that you made in September.
Mm. But is it a buy there or is it a head and shoulder again?
Well, for this, the head and shoulders would take a bit more sort of time to develop. As in, you test this level, you get a bounce, you make a lower high.
Oh,
But
right.
I mean, you've had all the evidence of the slowing upside and the
Yeah, yeah.
change in behavior
Yes. That's what I noticed.
um,
Yeah.
in the setup. So, trading range at best is similar to what you had August, September, but definitely a deteriorating profile rather than a reaccelerating. So, I mean, I think the the charts are telling us that
The
the
whole sector
general, yeah, the general behavior
for
for a lot of these
healthcare.
stocks that
Yeah.
had trended well of buying the dips has changed over the past 3 months. And maybe some of it's uncertainty on healthcare policies from the US, but there's been a
Yes.
clear sort of change. And the buyers, while they might want to get new information before they step in,
Yes.
they
Yes.
aren't stepping in at a higher level, and that's keeping the pressure on the downside. And that's what these charts are suggesting.
Okay, understood. Can we look at Fujifilm 4901? And it is also interesting that all of them are acting together, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like it's almost nothing individual. Yeah.
No, that's right. So it's not stock specific. It's just
Yeah.
sort of general thematic. So there is, retesting support, RSR higher. So there at least has been slowing downside momentum. But as I
But
sort of,
is that a divergence or no? The one in mid-December. It's not a close, right? That's the tricky
it
shit.
looks like it's not at close, but let's just
Yeah.
overlay that. So
Oh yeah.
it's not a closing low. No.
We don't really need one, right?
Well, I
I
mean, the point is, yes, you don't need one. The point is that this 3,150 area
Our
is
support
being
level.
respected.
Yeah.
But I think, like I've said before, this does look like a bit of a strange. It lost all the upside momentum and it sort of just grinded lower.
Yes,
That
yes.
you're getting some kind of messy sort of range that you can be in place.
Yeah. But if it breaks
Um,
below the 31,550, right,
yeah, I
then
mean,
then it's
you
a
can,
yeah.
27.20, 27.30.
Mm. Does this look like bullish at all to you as in
So you
at
can
31?
manufacture a trade, as
Oh,
in
okay.
you can use a close below 331.50 as a
3150.
stop level. Yeah.
Okay. The only this Fujifilm is not pharma. That's the interesting thing. So I'm
Yeah.
just trying to see. Okay. Then can we look at 4507 and 4503? Maybe this bash up nonsense. They're bouncing. I'm just trying to get it. Yeah. Oh, actually, sorry. Oh yeah. Okay, go.
Yeah, nothing's changed on this one. Trading range still 2270 is basically the top of the range. 50-day
Uh
has started to act as support.
50 days. Oh yeah, I guess support. So this is
Yeah.
more bullish, right? Yeah.
Well, again, it's a trading range. It still needs to break out. but
Yeah,
you've had buyers that have stepped in at a higher level over the past month and a bit.
because this guy makes the drug for all the flus, all problems. I'm just
Right.
surprised the share price has been so capped by that 200 day, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But if it breaks above the dotted line, it's good, right? Okay.
Yep.
Takeda, 4502. Yeah.
I mean, this is below the moving averages, and at the midpoint of the range. So, basically that 3,900 to 4,400.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there's nothing there. Okay. 4503.
You've got a very small divergence between the lows here in December and the lows in November,
Oh,
ahead of the 1428 support area.
yes.
I mean, again, it's not that appealing, but you probably have limited downside risk.
Mm. It's not that appealing either, right? Even though there's a divergence or
Yeah, there's a divergence.
that's
I mean, the divergence never gives you what the upside potential is. You can only look at
yes.
overhead resistance. So it's probably, 5% upside risk, 5% downside risk.
Got it. Got it. Okay, that's Astellas. That's disappointing. Um, ASI 4523, because this one's on someone's top pick for this junk.
I mean, this one doesn't chart that well, and it's pretty ugly.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it looks like it's
there's
bouncing now, right?
short, oh, does look that way. There isn't a divergence here.
Isn't, right? There isn't one, right?
There is not. I mean, this can still rally 9%, and you won't even be back above the 50-day.
Mm. It could then it would be a good time to short at the 50-day, right?
Well,
Chunks
yeah,
up.
I mean, I think again, you can manufacture a trade because you can use the 50-day as a stop level, and the 50-day will coincide with, these prior lows that can act as additional resistance.
That's perfect. Okay. 4528.
So it looks quite similar in that you don't have a divergence,
Yeah.
but you can bounce back to the 50-day, which has been the cap for over a
So
year.
that what this suggests is there's an unwind in the sector, right? They're selling the winners and
Does
covering
look
the
like there's
losers
some
now.
short covering in
Yeah.
the downtrends.
Okay.
Um, and
That's
yeah,
perfect.
they can rally a bit more, but still be in a downtrend.
Yeah. Then I have a ticker, right? That's interesting. This was the biggest winner. Hold on, I'm just gonna give it a ticker. It's new, huh? It's 4587 Pepti Dreams. Oh no, it should be in here. Yeah, it's bottom right. Bottom right. Yeah, that's the guy. So I'm just trying to see what it's saying. But
I mean, if anything, you had slowing upside and failure to get above that 2950 area.
yeah, but it also has a divergence. So that's why I'm curious. Do we buy this or do we not? Yeah.
Well, I don't see that
Yeah, it doesn't have divergence yet today, right? But was yesterday a divergence? Yeah, it was, right?
but this RSI is at a new low for this move here, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I meant this one. I meant yeah, the end December RSI low, end December one. Is that
Well,
yeah?
this is at 37.59. This is at 37.3.
Yes. So the move down today has sort of killed it, right? But yesterday it was before my divergence, no?
Well, no, because yesterday's close was at the low, so it was still falling.
Oh, right.
I mean, if anything,
Oh,
this looks like it could break down.
I see.
So you've
Th-
had slowing upside.
Yeah,
Yes, the 200-day can give you some support, but breaking down from this range gives
it's
you a measured
ugly.
target of 2040.
That's really bizarre because this guy did really well last year, for no reason. Okay, so now everything they like about it is now against it. It's very strange.
Yeah,
Okay,
it looks vulnerable.
yeah, okay, that's helpful. Can we look at Terumo 4543? Sorry, I'm just going to be more detailed today since it's the start of the year. I may
Oh,
have to need another session. Yeah, yeah,
four,
yeah. There,
five,
left.
four,
That's the
three.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
So this is with today's action still respecting the breakout area at this sort of 3,000 mark.
Oh, so it's actually bullish, the more bullish ones among the giants, right? Yeah.
Well, it's held up.
Yes. But I'm thinking, is it a short, right? It's not really because it can go to 3,200, but that's where it meets the calculated upside, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, nothing there. All right. 7733 Olympus. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Wait, what's oh yeah.
I'll put a close on this.
Oh, okay, you're pretty close out.
I mean, so what the
Oh, it's a
this is a
divergence.
this is a closing low relative to the closing low in December, right?
Mm,
So you've got slowing downside. You have this 2250 as a support area.
yeah.
So for me, that looks like it tries to stabilize here.
Okay. And the divergence is formed, right? Even though it's a short one, 2 month, 1.5, 2 weeks on, right?
Well, no, so it's more than that because
Oh, yeah. I
it's a
see.
month basically.
Okay, so this is more bullish, right? But does the failure from the top, does that doesn't have the head and shoulder yet, right? The right shoulder is still missing.
So that, yeah, this is unlikely to be head and shoulders. Yeah, I mean, you would need to get so if you bounced here and
Yeah,
got a move
fail
back to 2700, fail there. So quite a lot has to happen for this
to be a proper
to
one. Yeah.
increase yeah the likelihood of a big head and shoulders.
Okay, that's very helpful. Can we take a look at Sysmax 6869?
I mean, this is a key level. So momentum confirmed these highs here.
Yeah.
The breakout of this range still has essentially 3600 as an upside target.
Yeah.
But if you can't hold this support area, you basically get a failed breakout. And it's quite often a failed breakout can trade, down to the opposite boundary.
Oh, this is so scary. But is this current level because of the dotted line or because of the red zero?
Well, the red zero lines up with the dotted line. So it's the dotted line and the red zero is the breakout area from the trading range,
Oh,
right?
they coincide, not because of
Well, yeah,
it's a
that's how you get the
coincidence.
measured move from where you
Oh,
break
all
the
right,
upper
of
boundary.
course.
Yep, yep,
Okay, this is helpful.
yep.
And the momentum is pretty negative today, right?
Yeah, I mean today the lows looks like you're getting confirmation. So yeah, unless you bounce,
Yeah. Oh, it's coming back. What the
yeah,
hell?
I'm just
Yeah,
trying to
just trying to hold it. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. 7747 Asahi Intact. Oh yeah, there it is.
So not a lot to do with this one. One, there's a broader, longer term trading range, but two, there's a shorter term range where essentially 2400 support
Yeah.
and resistance is around that 2800 area.
Okay, got it. And then 7701 Shimadzu, and then a couple of mop-ups. Yeah. Shimadzu. Oh yeah, in the middle. In the middle. Yeah, that's the guy.
This is also one that had the breakdown, only got to the 62% retracement,
Yeah,
has had this bounce,
above. Yeah.
but I mean, it's really sort of hesitating again. I mean, best case is that we're getting a lower trading range here.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, not a, if anything, your upside's less than your downside risk. Your upside's sort of three and a half
Yeah.
percent, your downside's 5%, but pretty tight, right?
Okay, I see. So that big rally in this early December then came to nothing, right? That's what it is, right?
Well, yeah, and if I just kept it like that, you've still kept
Oh,
lower highs and lower lows, basically.
yeah, yeah. Okay, that's very helpful. Can we look at CS? Oh, sorry, no. Actually, that's a Kyowa Kirin. Just minimize this. Kyowa Kirin bottom right. Yeah. Then CSL and ResMap will do.
I mean, I think you limited downside. You've got basically 4% away from support and you have multiple divergences or multi-month divergences.
Oh, oh yeah, and right now it is divergence. Yeah, multiple divergence, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, this is more constructive. Okay.
Well, just
Uh
limited downside risk, I think. So cover shorts at least.
yes, yes. Okay, then can we look at CSL? This is the bird flu plague, and I don't understand why. Yeah.
I mean, obviously the longer term is this very broad cyclical range, right? The
Yeah.
shorter term, I mean, today's intraday move off the highs still suggests that the 200-day is a resistance zone.
Oh, okay.
So to really open the upside potential, we need to close above 288, and what you're playing for then is
yes.
307, 310, which is the top end of that multi-year trading range.
Okay, that's awesome. RMD, and then I just want to stick in two tickets for the US. Yeah, that's right.
So you can see the slowing upside, the resistance from the 21 highs. So we basically left in a range.
Yeah,
To really improve the outlook for the stock is, obviously we need to break
break
through
above.
the 39,
Yeah.
$40 area.
But is it a short? We can manufacture a short, right? Yeah.
Well, you've got the slowing upside already. So yes, you can use a close above 40 as a stop level
Uh,
to short it on this bounce, yes.
got it. Okay. Then we're good to Japan. Sorry, can I just stick in two US tickets, right? With the sub-recession.
Okay.
Yeah, REGN and AMGN. AMGN, REGN. Large cap biotech. Yeah, there it is. This looks like a divergence no matter how I see it,
Yeah,
right?
so I mean the closes have been higher throughout until this low, and the RSI is higher here than it was in November.
Ah, so that's the first divergence. Yeah.
So this is the divergence here. Um,
And even more recently, like yesterday or
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, I think that closing low and yesterday's closing low are quite similar, and the RSI is still higher.
yeah,
So you've got into your second month of divergence,
yeah,
and there is a support zone.
yeah,
There is support from the November 23 lows. So yes, cover short at least,
yeah. Okay.
and then
REGN.
so here again the divergence is in place, right?
Yeah. This one looks better, but the yesterday's action just makes me stunned. It was up 2% and then went down.
Reversed here.
Yeah, what the shit? I don't even know. I'm just that's something I wanted to have your views on this. But the divergence there, like Amgen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but both have
Yeah.
divergences.
Okay. Can we see ELV? ELV, just to here in the same tab as well. Yeah, just that's the right one. Okay, that's great.
You've had your divergence, and
And a rally. Yeah.
yeah, at least it held on to the rally. So obviously 50-day and the prior lows in
Oh,
that's resistance 395 to 407, but it's got a bit of room to go.
yeah. Okay, this is awesome. Thanks a lot,
Oh,
Lawrence. I
all
I,
right.
I guess the time today is not enough for me to cover the US. I'll ask you for a 30-minute slot next, right? Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank
Cool. Keep
you.
up.
Have a good
Bye bye.
day. Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye.